ApexOnlineRacing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below. Hello everybody and welcome to the 7th round of Apex Online Racing's Hype Energy Xbox One Oceania F1 League. Today we are at the Canadian Grand Prix and the circuit to Gilles Villeneuve, where it's bring some interesting racing in the past, in particular 2007 where Lewis Hamilton won his first maiden Grand Prix, and you also don't forget the 4-hour long race where Jenson Button came out of nowhere to win the race, even though he had loads of casualties along the way. No fit show this weekend, but you got me. I'm Jess and I'll be one of your commentators, but joining the Oceania commentary box as usual is Matt212.
Once again, it's been quite a while since I last commentated on Air Oceania. A few things have happened here and there, but it feels good to be back finally. Once again, I'm sure we've got lots more interest in cycling. As obviously we're in the European phase of the season now, but obviously we take one little trip over to Canada nice and early on before we move back for the French Grand Prix next week out as well. So looking forward to this one. Canada, this French Grand Prix, this Canadian Grand Prix circuit even, is one of my favourites on the Formula One calendar. I know it's one of quite a few of the drivers as well, a real old school circuit. Lots of straights, which means lots of overtaking. Quite difficult to manage the ERS around here though. But yeah, one that's really, really exciting to watch as well. High speeds around this circuit as well. Quite low downforce, although you've still got to navigate yourself around all of these chicanes around the circuit, as well as a couple of hairpins that bookend this track as well. So looking forward to this one. Overall, very, very easy to lose your front wing as well, so it can be quite an unpredictable race. But yeah, very, very excited.
Yes, I'm very excited as well. It's one of my favourite tracks as well. Definitely a fan favourite in my opinion, due to the amount of battles we've had in AOR in the past. And it's also the second track in a row where we'll be introducing the Hypersofts. Obviously last week we had the Hypersofts come into play for the Monaco Grand Prix, which was a lot of carnage and chaos to say the least, with a lot of people who weren't expecting to do well were fighting for the top positions, as Dropberg got his first podium of the season, his best result in P2, and Greek Master was able to take his second win of the season to extend his championship by 17 points to New Zealand Ryan. New Zealand Ryan not having the best of the finish, but he still managed to go in the top 5 to get a good result there. So he's still trying to catch up to Greek Master. Obviously his teammate Fens didn't have the best result last time about. He was involved in a couple of battles which didn't go his way, and he ended up in P7. And Jared also got another podium as well, and pretty much everyone who finished got a points finish, so most of them got their best finishes of the season twice in a row. So that was very good to see the racing. If you haven't watched it back, make sure you do check it out, obviously after the stream has finished. But obviously our championship leader Greek Master has gone on a set of Hypersofts to start his lap, and it's on a 1:08, was on provisional pole, and Timo Marduk has smashed it with a 1:08. Ben is now back from Europe, but he's back with a vengeance to compete in AOR again, so welcome back. And he's already got to a flying start with a provisional pole time. The fastest lap on the Ultra Softs is Neil Treedome with a 1:09, so that's a good lap from them. We could see a 1:08, 1:07 pole time, and we also got the Ultra Softs and Super Softs come into play as well, but we haven't seen any Super Softs used just yet. But obviously it's not a race qualifying tyre, it's more of a race tyre. But definitely, if I was them, I would qualify on the Ultra Softs, but a lot of people on the Hyper Softs, so this could give us an indication of what the weather is like in the race. Obviously we haven't got clarification from the drivers what the weather is going to be like yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon, Matt.
Yeah, and that's what I was just about to say as well. Strategy around here, those guys that are running on the Hypersofts are probably going to have to make this a 2-stop Grand Prix. Those Hypersofts will not last very long around this circuit, especially with the handling model on this year's game. We'll probably only see them go at most sort of 8-9 laps, and then potentially they could try and stretch the super softs, but I imagine then they'd probably have to go for ultra softs, then most likely super softs as well. So the super softs, the ultra softs even can go the one stop here, ultras to about lap 15, and then you take the supers right the way through to the very end as well. Obviously, if enough people go out on those hypers and sort of force everyone else into that decision as well, basically, if you get enough people doing one strategy, you'll sort of find a lot more people, almost like sheeps, sort of have to follow them, so they aren't off the off strategy as well in it. And then really, you see a few different drivers try and take a bit of a risky approach as well, see if it does pay off towards the end of the session. You sacrifice track position for hopefully a quick, clean race as well, but obviously front wing damage can occur in the early stages of Grand Prix as well, and especially around a tight, twisty circuit like this, it can very, very easily be picked up as well there. So yeah, Tim Marduk on a 1 minute 8.1, that is a fairly quick lap from him so far. I'm sure we'll see top times sneak probably into the 7s towards the end of the session as well, and we'll probably see a 7-7, I'm going to say, for pole there or thereabouts towards the end of the session. But yeah, Ben sets the pace in the early stages, has definitely come back with a clear message that he wants to be fighting back at the front. He's only had 1 points finish so far, and that was a 4th place way back earlier on in the season, so I'm sure he's looking to try and score a whole lot of points in this Grand Prix as well. But yeah, 11 minutes to go on the clock. Tim Marduk currently on pole ahead of HO and Greek Master, and I'm sure Greek Master is looking to try and keep up that podium streak he's maintained so far since the start of the season. He's been one of those drivers who's been able to keep it clean, and that has proved absolutely vital so far this season. He's actually gone out on a set of ultra soft tyres, so I'm going to stay on board with him over the course of this lap, see what he is able to muster up on these tyres there. Dinks the wall actually coming through the second chicane even, I should say, of the lap. Brake just before the black box as you come into the next corner, very off camber, so difficult to try and get the car slowed down in towards the braking zone there, and quite a difficult traction on the way out as well. That brake just as you go under the tunnel here in towards the fourth chicane of the lap here, and now you come out in towards the final sector, down in towards the hairpin here. One of the most critical corners on this lap, just with the huge back straight after it here, and I think he does get the car nicely slowed down there. He's got Fens here. I think he's actually going to give him a bit of slipstream as well, so clearly the Williams boys actually working together in this qualifying session, which is fantastic to see. He's going to use all of that slipstream there and duck back at the last moment there, and in towards the final chicane of the lap, breaking about the 75 meter board there, clip the curbs nicely, a beautiful line shown by Greek Master there, and down towards the line. Is he going to improve? I think he will. Yes, he does. A 1 minute 8.2. That is a very, very quick lap on that set of the Ultrasoft tyres. They're helped by his teammate, but if you want to be winning races, you've got to have your teammate on your side as well there, and that is fantastically done by Greek Master and Fens there from the Williams team.
Yeah, it's great to see that the Williams teams are working together throughout this season, and Fens helping Greek Master out, because Fens knows that Greek Master is probably one of the best chances of winning this championship. But Fens, in my opinion, can't give up without a fight. He's going to get some points as well on the board as well, and I won't be surprised if Fens can score a higher time as well, even though he just went into the pits just then. But he's on it like a vengeance at the moment to help his teammate, and he can also help each other as well. So I won't be surprised if we can see a top two lookout for the Williams, but we could see Ben and Ryan challenging for points as well. I'm just going to see who else is on a lap at the moment. Mixing strategies at the moment, which is proving to be interesting. And it's nice to see a few people which are back after a few weeks of not having Wasco Arms back. He wasn't here last week as well. And I think DLG Gamble had a good result last week as well, getting in the points. He was involved in a lot of battles as well. So it'll be interesting to see what time he can pull up in the races. Ben has got even faster on the Hypersofts with 1 minute 7.7. A few people in the chat were suggesting that they were going to the 1.7s, but you weren't wrong, and Ben has just done that. Will Greek Master get a response when he goes out later on? I have a feeling he's going to do that. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I think DLC Jared has still got to respond as well. He's got set a banker time at the moment, but I know he can improve if he goes on a set of Hypersofts once he goes out. Warden's on an out lap as well. He's got a set of Hypersofts as well. Definitely taking the gamble by going on those Hypersoft tyres, but it is a short lap, so they probably won't go on for a very, very, very long time whatsoever. Yeah, Canada always brings some very interesting strategy and corners and stuff like that, and it's also another track where a lot of penalties can be gained as well. So definitely the stewards will be looking out to see if they won't be exceeding the track limits too much, which I'm hoping they don't, and keep it penalty free. But HO doing well in a Hypersofts for 1 minute 8.2, so maybe he could pull it out of the bag as well. So any of these top guys, any of the top 6 I believe, can pull out a pole position. And Quicksilver has done very well as well in P5. He hasn't retired as of yet, touch wood. He hasn't had the best of luck this season, but maybe he could turn the corner and get a good result in Canada after the showing he is showing so far in this qualifying session.
Yeah, I'm just on board actually with New Zealand Ryan as he comes through the final couple of corners of the lap. Down towards the line, he's going to go on a 1 minute 8.3 there with no slipstream from anyone else on that lap. So, well, he's now exactly the position behind Greek Master there. HO actually just goes ahead on a 1 minute 8.229. So, yeah, New Zealand Ryan, only a 10th off Greek Master with no slipstream there. And I was saying about, obviously, how he is Greek Master's main title threat so far. I'm sure he's looking to try and make it 3 from 3 in the AOR Oceania League as well. So, very, very good lap by New Zealand Ryan on that set of the ultra soft tyres as well there. So maybe Greek Master, you know, that pace is still very, very quick at this stage of the session, but maybe it's, you know, not as untouchable as I originally thought there, and they are now up in 3rd and 4th. Timo Mardik, as we said, on the 1 minute 7.797 currently on those hypersofts. He's basically locked in now on to those hypersofts. It's going to be interesting to see how his strategy fares relative to the guys behind him, but I think at the moment it's quite quiet on track. We've got Quicksilver, I think, coming on a lap currently here, so I'll have a look. Yes, he's definitely on a lap, using all of the ERS as he comes down in towards the final corner of the lap. Can he get it nice and threaded through the final chicane? Someone's actually taken out the 50-meter marker board, which is not ideal as well there. Very good line though by Quicksilver nonetheless. Down towards the line, he's going to run out of ERS a little early there and only set a 1 minute 9.036, and he's just dropping down the order at the moment. They're Drop Bear and Press BC are now actually tied on a 1 minute 8.716. We don't see that all too often in Formula 1 as well. So mighty tighty at the moment at this stage of the session, but still another 5 minutes to go, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of drivers' quickest times starting to come now right at the very end of this session.
Wow, this reminds me of the 1997, one of the 1997 races where 3 drivers were tied with the same pole time, but this time it's tied with 6th and 7th. But due to the fact that I think Drop Bear set the time first, his position stays where he is. So if you see that time, if you see the same times in a session, the person who set it first will be the one that will finish higher and start on a better position than the rest. As Greek Masters beat Timo Mardik's time already on the set of Hypersofts with a 1 minute 7.6. Timo Mardik, I think, going on a set of Ultra Softs at the moment to start his his next flying lap. So maybe he can challenge for a pole on the set of Ultra Softs. It'll be a big comeback if he does a good lap on these Ultra Softs. I do believe he was on Hypersoft to begin with. Let me just check the best tyres for everyone. Yes, he did qualify on the set of Hypersoft at the moment. So he's on the set of Ultras. He's looking to improve on that time because he knows that a few of the guys behind him set lower times. But he is taking a gamble. He is taking a risk. And if he can set a good Ultra Soft time, then this could prove very good speed for the race. But if he doesn't, that means he needs to play the time management game and make sure those tyres don't degrade as much on this hot track. Canada is quite hotter than usual. We usually expect it to be quite cold, but it's the summer in Canada in game, so that's why it's getting quite hot. As everyone has set a lap time, the person, that laggy person, is last at the moment, but he's out for a lap at this moment in time. All of them, I do believe, has now got points now, so they are all fighting for as much points as possible in this race. Lots of people saying that they like Canada as much as possible as well. But oh yeah, no, Timo Mardik is not setting a lap time on those Ultras. He's going into the pits at the moment, so probably he decided the Ultras are not the best way to go, and he may go on another set of Hypersofts. He's got to be careful though. He's running out of time. He's got about 3 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. I think everyone is diving into the pit except Jared, Warden, Mars Berserk and that laggy person. They're the only ones going out on a lap at this moment in time. I think Jared's just about to start a lap. Yes, he is just about to start a lap. He's getting there. He's going quite fast on the set of Ultra Softs. He's 3rd at the moment. This could be proved very good seed in the race. Let me just get the best tyres up so we know who's going to qualify on which tyres. So definitely Greek Master is the one to beat at the moment, and Ben is definitely looking to challenge Greek Master and possibly help his teammate New Zealand Ryan out in the championship. Oh, and Jazz gone in the pits as well. So not many people on a lap at the moment, but they could come out later on. But it's only 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to go. And due to the fact the track temperature is getting quite hot now and starting to rubber up, I suggest that these drivers get a lap in now, because we'll probably see times improve left, right and centre here, Matt.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, just with a couple of minutes to go of this session there. And DRC Jared at 1 minute 7.9 on that set of the ultra soft tyres there. Fens as well in the 1 minute 8.0. Very, very quick laps coming in by those guys there. But as I said earlier on about how, you know, if the top guys force a bit of a different strategy, I feel that's what Ben's done with Greek Master here. I think Greek Master wants to be on that front row at the very minimum there. So he's out on that high, well, he was out on that hyper soft tyres there, gets the pole position, well, at the current pole position in this session of 1 minute 7.666. So yeah, very good job by him so far. He has actually come out again right at the very end here on, once again, I think a set of the hyper soft tyres here. So clearly he feels there's a little bit more pace in that car. I think he's got Tim Mardick, actually, sorry, New Zealand Ryan right between them as well here. So maybe he's trying to get in the way. Oh, they're actually having a bit of a battle there, Ryan and Greek Master. I don't think Ryan will be too happy with that one here. So there's already a bit of squabbling going out on the track. Maybe Ryan's trying to get inside Greek Master's head here as we come in towards the final minute of this session. It's all getting very, very tense here. We're just 1 minute to go here in the Canadian Grand Prix qualifying session. Qualifying is quite crucial here, but not absolutely critical, because obviously you can overtake. And look at this, yeah, once again, Ryan is trying to get past Greek Master. Is Greek Master going to try and keep it the inside? No, he doesn't. A drop there gets out the way of the pair of them. But yeah, this is getting very, very tense here, and I wonder if Ben's actually going to try and get between them as well here. Maybe if Ferrari are using some strategy, but no, they're not. Ryan is now way down the road here, so not too sure, a bit of a miscommunication or what that is all about, but it is certainly getting very, very tense between these guys. It's already hot enough, and we're only in round 7 of the season.
I think it's because it's 21 races, they would expect it to be halfway through the season now, but no, they've still got more work to go to make sure they get that. New Zealand Ryan was on a 1 minute 8.3, still has another lap to go to make sure he improves his time, and I think Tim Mardick was on his out lap, so he has another chance to set a lap time. He won't have time to set another lap time after that, as the clock has just hit 0, so anyone on a lap at the moment is allowed to finish it. But DRC Jared is not seeing a lap time anymore. He still stays third fastest, but very, very good lap time from him on a 1 minute 7 on the Ultras. Fens is about to finish his lap time, or as he slides ever so slightly towards that last DRX straight. That didn't help him ever so slightly, but still very comfortably in fourth for the moment on those set of hypers. I do believe he's still on them at the moment, as far as I'm aware. Yes, he is, as he's about to approach the final corner. Approached it quite cleanly. Let's see what lap time he sets. How does he improve on his time? No, he doesn't. He doesn't improve at all. He stayed in fourth position. And we're going to see, I think Tim Mardick's on finishing his lap as well. But New Zealand Ryan's about to cross the start-finish straight. Is he going to improve? Oh, nope, he's run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel. So, nope, he won't be setting on a lap time. And Ben doesn't improve either. And Drop Bear's in the pits. So, there's your qualifying session done, and your championship leader, Greek Master 99, is now on pole. What is happening with the AI? They just stopped towards the beginning of turn 1 there. I wonder what happened there, but crazy qualifying to say the least. But Greek Master showing his dominance already, but Ben definitely making a return to AOR with a vengeance, and he's not messing around here today. And wants to make his championship hopes well known to the rest of the Oceania drivers in F1.
Yeah, he's certainly got a mountain to climb if he wants to get himself back into that title challenge. But as you said, we're not very far into the season still. We're only a third of the way in so far. So he's certainly got a lot of opportunities to do so still. But yeah, starting P2 on the grid, I reckon we're going to see him go for it in towards T1 here.
Yeah, I think so. And let's go through the standings right now at the moment. So Greek Master getting pole by 1/10 per second. So not as close as last week, but Ben is in second. DRC Jared in third, with Fens in fourth. HO in fifth. Neon Tridone getting a good lap result in P6 with a 1 minute 8.3. Excellent result for him so far. New Zealand Ryan, not the best results for him, but he's very good on race pace, so we can see climbing up the field. Drop Bear in 8th, Presby C in 9th, Roscoe Arm rounding up the top 10 at the moment with Gamble, Silver, Walden, Master Berserk, and that laggy person in that order, rounding up the standings at this stage. And what we've seen in other league racing AOR in Canada, we've seen some very close battles going through, and we're very excited to see what happens here. Not as hot as the qualifying regarding the weather as far as I'm aware, so the weather could change, but it's looking like to be a dry race at this stage, which is good for some of the drivers who opted for the ultra soft strategy. But can someone go for a gamble and start on the super softs, or will they challenge for the ultra softs? Or I know a few people will be starting on the hyper soft because that's what they qualified their tyres on, and we could see teammate strategy going to play, because the Constructors' Championship is important in Oceania as well. They take the Constructors' Championship very seriously, and that's what I really like to see at this moment in time. All the drivers are starting to ready up and get their tyre strategy work and getting into play as well. But yeah, I could see a Ben fighting a Greek Master into turn 1 as they're starting in the formation lap, and we're going to see what tyres everybody is starting on. And as I was saying, a few people opted for the super soft scramble, which is Quicksilver, Warden, Mars Berserk, and that laggy person. So is that gamble going to work for those 4? But I have seen it work in the past. It'll be interesting to see how that does. And with DLG Gamble and DLG Gamble taking the risk on those ultra softs, but that can make that one-stop strategy work. But Greek Master, Team Marduk, HO, and Neil Treedome will be probably doing a 2-stop strategy, because I don't know how long these hyper softs are going to last in Canada, but I don't think they're going to last longer than the ultra softs.
Yeah, I'd be very impressed if they did obviously last as long as the ultra softs here. But yeah, quite surprised actually that all of the bottom 4 went on that set of the super soft tyres here. Personally, I would have gone on the ultras if you're outside the top 10, because usually, you know, going on the harder compounded tyres just doesn't work. You can keep up in the early stages, and then unfortunately you're too far back to really mount sort of any challenge towards the end of the race as well. But you know, with enough of them on it, potentially they can hang on to the rest of the field here as well there. But interesting to see. Obviously we've got quite a mix of strategy here. We've got 5 on the ultras, 4 on the supers, and then everyone else on the hypersoft tyres here as well. So certainly going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. Greek Master will have the inside for turn 1 obviously, but if Ben can hook it up around the outside, maybe, just maybe, he's going to give himself a chance into the hairpin of turn 2 as well. But I'm sure we'll find out in just a minute's time as they all come out the final corner now, ready to start the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yes, I'm very excited for this one, and it wasn't close calls for the Wall of Champions in qualifying. Hopefully not many people do hit the Wall of Champions today, because that will be an interesting thought, to say the least, as all the drivers are lining up for the start of this race. Greek Master 99 on the right hand side of your screen with Team Marduk in the Ferrari on your left hand side, both on the hypersoft tyres. This is going to be very interesting, as we got 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are underway at the Canadian Grand Prix with Xbox One Oceania, and already DLG Gamble was trying to make a move already into turn 1, but Greek Master onto a great start with DLC Jared trying to fend off Ben going into turn 1. Ryan trying to gain his positions off HO as well. Already some battles happening midway through the field, and we're already in lap 1. Greek Master already pulling away. Fenn's doing well to try and get down the order as well indeed, and New Zealand Ryan was trying to defend off HO. Oh, there's a little bit of contact from New Zealand Ryan and HO, but they managed to hold it together, so that's good. But we also got the other Red Bull of Neil Treedome as well, helping his teammate out. How's that going to work? Oh, it's going to be very intense to see if they can make it past these last couple of turns. But already, we got some calamities already. We got Prez BC and we got Quicksilver as well having some issues as well. They spun it, I think, around turn 4 and turn 5. But everyone else going away unscathed, as DLG Gamble was trying to make a move past Roscoe, Master Berserk, and he's got the move done. Now he's on the back of Roscoe, going into the long DRS straight. Team Amanda closing up to Greek Master like a hurry. We'll follow that in a second, as we're going into lap 2, all making it through unscathed. Greek Master obviously saying the fastest lap, but it is shaping up to be a very intense Grand Prix already. Only 2 casualties at the moment, but this could all change.
Yeah, it certainly could there, and overall, as you said, quite a clean start to this race, and now it's all about trying to pick yourself up, get yourself into a rhythm here, because penalties can be very, very easy to pick up as well here. But yeah, Ben applying the pressure to Greek Master, but DLC Jared as well, clearly got a lot of pace on that set of the ultra soft tyres here. He's not wanting to let these guys go in the early stages of this Grand Prix. And this could be absolutely critical for his race. If he can try and stick with these guys in the early stages, that'll give him a whole load of goodness right towards the end of this Grand Prix as well. Fenn's starting to drop off this front pack as well here, with Ryan still right all over the rear of him. So we've got 3 ultra soft runners right behind Team Marduk and Greek Master. And really, if these guys want a good chance at the race victory, they probably need to work together here, because Fenn's is looking very, very strong in the early stages of this race, in towards the final chicane on the end of the second lap. Now both of them take a nice bit of curb as well. That's absolutely what you need to be doing in this track. It's all like pushing, but not pushing over the limit. Obviously, you can say that about most circuits, but around here, I've personally found in the past, if you start cutting a couple of corners here or there, you really, really upset your rhythm, and you can easily find yourself picking up 2 penalties very, very quickly as well here. But yeah, now we see onto lap 3, Ben starting to make a little bit of a gap from Jared here, potentially. That early pace. I wouldn't say it's fallen away just yet. I'm sure obviously it will come back towards the end of this stint as well here. But I think Jared now is starting to settle in. He's mixing it up with the ERS modes as well here. And I think at this stage, it's always that fine balance of, if you think you can go for the move, certainly try to harass. Oh, there Ben runs a little bit wide actually out of that chicane there, so he's going to lose himself a little bit of time. But for Jared, he probably doesn't want to stick in this dirty F for all too long as well here, as it could really, really cost his race there. As Ben almost pushing Greek Master out of the hairpin there, but Greek just struggling on making sure that he gets the best traction off the exit of the corner there. And now already Fens is outside of the DRS window from Jared. He actually picked up the DRS just about from just going into the hairpin there, but he's just running a little bit wide through the final chicane, and Ryan is going to be able to capitalise on that. Is Fens going to be able to hold on in towards T1 here? I can't imagine Ryan is going to give him any sort of opportunity, but he does. Fens right around the outside there. A fantastic defensive manoeuvre. Runs a bit deep in towards turn 2 there. Is Ryan going to be able to get the run on the exit of the corner? He's going to have the inside in towards the next chicane here. I got it wrong the first time around. He's going to keep the nose there, but Fens running it very wide on the exit of the corner there. I don't think he picked up any front wing damage from that one. Lucky to not lose any front wing there, but he does lose the position. He does drop down to P5 in this Grand Prix there, and Ryan now moves himself up into P4 there, but they've lost so much time to the top 3 here, and what a start this has been for Jared, able to hang on with that top 2 there, and whilst everyone else has already started to drop away from those top runners there. And now for Ryan, he needs to get back into that pace and try and close that gap back up to Jared here, or Jared could be in. It's very, very early days still just yet, but still, Jared has put himself in a very, very strong position in the early stages of this race.
Yes, the top 3 are flying already at the start of this Grand Prix. The battles that we've just seen has helped definitely Greek Master and Team Marduk pull up a massive gap between the rest of the field. But Ben is starting to lose a bit of pace from Greek Master, but we can see him improve as the track improves as well, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Already DRC Jared is trying to close in onto Team Marduk. He's probably going to get DRS straight soon, but maybe even can catch up. DRS is now enabled now, so more overtakes can happen as we go through to the rest of this session, and we can start to see the hyper softs runners go pit in the next couple of laps pretty soon as well. Drawbear getting the first penalty of the session. Not the best place to be with exceeding track limits, but yeah, only 1 penalty so far. Nope, Quicksilver's got a 3-second time penalty as well. So these two not getting into a rhythm at this stage, but definitely the rest of the field that are trying to get into the rhythm. But a few people are getting a few warnings as Jared is all over the back of Team Marduk, going into that tight hairpin, approaching the DRS. Is he going to enable DRS? Looks like he is. Yes, he does. Good reaction from DRC Jared, and he's Team Marduk's going to be under pressure going into the final few corners of sector 3 then. Not hitting the wall of champions. That is what... Oh, and Jared went a little bit wide there going into the final corner. That didn't help him. That's allowed Team Marduk to push a little bit more to Greek Master. Team Marduk's on the back of him as well. So a 3-way battle for the lead going into turn 1. This is going to be absolutely insane to watch, isn't it? And Ryan is nowhere with him at the moment.
Yeah, no, it certainly will. Hopefully be a good battle throughout a lot of this race here. And Jared, yeah, I'm just so impressed about how he's been able to match these guys in the early stages. I'm not too sure if Greek Master, is just controlling the pace here, which he's certainly in his right to do so. I'm sure I'd be doing the same thing if I was in his position, but unfortunately for me, I never find myself in the race lead anymore there. But yeah, Greek, what a fantastic job it has been by him so far, and now he's starting to up the pace. He's whacked it up the ARS modes as well there. I think he's got the fuel turned up just a little bit as well. And now this is his opportunity to try and make that breakaway here from Tim Mardick. Jared is still applying all of the pressure here. And yeah, look at that. Ben now outside the DRS window. He will still have the DRS this lap here because obviously it is just before the hairpin. But this is fantastic by Jared here and also by Greek Glass. The fact he's just able to switch it up suddenly and bring out that little bit more pace there. Oh, a little bit of two varying lines through the final chicane there between Ben and Jared, but basically gives them both the same result. The gap remains almost the same as they come in towards T1 here to start lap 7 of this Grand Prix there. And Greek Master, yep, this you can see now already he is just trying to absolutely pull away in this stage. You know, just turn it up from 9 and straight up to 10 here, and this is absolutely fantastic from him. The gap now up to 1.3 seconds ahead of Tim Mardick here, as well as DRC Jared. As Ryan now, with that gap's hovering, you know, between 2 and 2.5 seconds here. He's got Fens still all over the back of him here, so although he might have been able to make that move work in the early stages, clearly Fens has not given up on this battle just yet here. Trying to look further down the order as well. It seems fairly spread out between everyone else a little bit further down the grid as well. But Jared now, look, he's almost going for the move up the inside in towards the hairpin here. I don't think he's going to try and go for that one just because of the slipstream there. But on the exit of the corner, is Jared going to be able to get the run on Tim Martin? There's nothing Ben's going to be able to do in this situation there. He's running 0 on the ERS as well there. He's just going to give up that place there, and unfortunate for Tim Martin there. But he's now going to leave Jared to try and go up and hassle Greek Master here. But yeah, what a fantastic start to this race, as I said, for Jared here. I just cannot believe the fact he's been able to match these types of runners here in the early stages, and this is not what either Greek Master or Tim Mardick needed here. And now New Zealand Ryan is starting to get a little bit closer once more to this pack, and I'm intrigued. Is Ben going to hold up New Zealand Ryan in this race, or if he gets close enough, is he just going to let him by there as Press BC picks up a 3-second time penalty as well?
If I was them, I'll probably be working together to make sure that they get points for the constructors. But Team Mardick is not going to let Ryan have this place without a fight. Because even though they're teammates together, they want to score as much points as possible going into this. But coming towards the end of the race, if they stay in the same position, probably Ben will probably let him by and possibly try and let Ryan close in onto Greek Master in the championship. But from what I've seen from Jared this season, he has been on fire pretty much for the whole of this season. He's been very, very consistent in terms of results, apart from the first race where he finished P11 in Australia. But his lowest finish after that was a P5. But the rest of the races showed to be proved to be very good. And in Spain, the stream that we didn't broadcast, he actually won the race, and last week he came in P3, so he got 2 podiums in a row, and he's on course to get a 3rd one, and all the Ferraris are fighting for position. New Zealand Ryan got the move down on Tim Mardick, and Ryan is up into 3rd place. I did say Tim Mardick was possibly going to try and possibly let Ryan through a little bit there, but it looks like he's done. But maybe Tim Mardick could possibly battle him again without a fight. And also we've got a few of the Hypersoft runners going into the pits right now. It's HO from, I think it was P4, I believe, in the pits, or P5. I'm losing track of position. Oh, and we've got a battle, I believe, with Fens and Tim Mardick. Again, he's losing position. I don't know what happened with Ben ever so slightly, but Fens is now up into P4 right now. As I was saying with Fens, he didn't have the best of races in Monaco, and he's got to let that negative mindset of what happened in Monaco go and concentrate on the race at hand. It looks like he's doing so already. That is very good to see, because if you have a negative mindset, it'll probably cost you in the race. He's looking ahead to make sure he can get the best battles possible. But already, Tim Mardick's Hypersoft, it looks like he's struggling a little bit, so he's dropping in the pace. He probably will have to pit soon ever so slightly, but our Greek Master is going into the pits right now. So our first pit run, our first leader is in the pits, Matt.
Yeah, no, I was actually on board with Tim Mardick. The move with New Zealand Ryan was definitely a Valtteri, it's James kind of moment. But then the second one, he just lost the car over the curbs through the 3rd chicane there. And well, those Hypersofts, I was thinking, are completely gone at that point there. So I knew he was have to pit at the end of this lap there. Greek Master seemed to be able to hold them on just a little bit longer here, and he is definitely going to come out in clean air. But Tim Mardick is actually going to come out between the Haas and the Force India there. So not ideal for him there. That one critical mistake has unfortunately set him back even further here, and he now finds himself behind that laggy person. So interesting to see if they're going to have a bit of a battle over these next couple of laps there. But yeah, a mistake that Tim Mardick did not want to make here, and Greek Master still finds himself up into P6 there, but Jared now up into the lead of the Grand Prix with New Zealand. Ryan sat now in at P2 there. Fens P3. They're all about 2 seconds away from each other, so perfectly just outside the downforce. Well, I call it a window, but obviously where it really affect the front tyres here. So they're all now probably trying to settle down into a bit of a rhythm here and hope that Greek Master and Tim Mardik can't try and perform any sort of undercut here, but they will have much quicker rubber towards the end of the Grand Prix as well here. But still, only lap 11 of a lap 35. Plenty can still happen here in the Canadian Grand Prix, and I'm sure we will certainly see a whole lot more action. Still waiting to see how all these different strategies pan out here. Warden 99 now up into P4 of the Grand Prix. He's had a very decent start to this race, up 9 places already here. Hasn't quite had the qualifying a lot of the times in this season. I thought we've spent a lot of this season saying about how he's made up places in the early stages, but ultimately, you want to be starting higher up the order so you don't have to do all this hard work in the early days there. But he is the highest runner on that set of these super soft tyres there, so good job by him so far in this Grand Prix there. And now up into P4, 5.6 off Fens here, but he should be able to go quite long in this race as well.
Yes, he does, and indeed he did have an unfortunate race in Monaco. He actually retired as well, which I do believe did cost the safety car. That caused the safety car to emerge in the latter stage of the Grand Prix. So he's looking to have one of his best results in the world, and he was using line last season, and he's not using it this season. So maybe that's the reason why he's dropping the pace a little bit. But he's looking consistent at the moment to try and make sure he could try and close up to the top guys, which he seems like he's doing at the moment on those set of super soft tyres, which is really great to see from Warden. So it's nice to see back where he belongs at the moment there. But HO in P10 trying to get some points as well. But so far, people that have stopped, only about 7 or 8 people have stopped already, but obviously Jared, Ryan, Fens, Warden and Drop Bear not for stops yet. So Greek Master still in the net lead of this Grand Prix at the moment, but depending on any of these guys can jump them, but we'll have to wait and see as HO got the move done on Master Berserk there, and HO all the way up into P9, so getting his points needed as well there. Also HO being very consistent so far this season, with his lowest finish was a retirement in Bahrain. Apart from that, all of that has been top 6 finishes, with his best finish being in Baku, where he actually won due to that penalties there. So he is Mr. Battleman, Mr. Consistent. A lot of Mr. Consistent people in this league, I used to say so far this season. He's having a better season, I believe, than last season, to be honest with you. And that is very good to see, as he could try and close up in the championship. He's 3rd in the championship, I believe, and he wants to score one better and possibly beat New Zealand Ryan. But he's not at the case at the moment. Possibly he can at this moment in time, as a Quicksilver I think has lost position as well. Oh no, it's Master Berserk. Master Berserk has lost it in that hairpin then and has dropped it into P12, so that's allowed Neil Trindome and Quicksilver to make the move down on them. Master Berserk not having the best of races at the moment. He'll probably have to pit a lap earlier than he's intended, because he's on a set of 11 lap used super soft, and nope, I thought he was going to go to the pitch yet, but he didn't, so he's probably going to go out for about 1 or 2 more laps and then pit. But it's nice to see that Drop Bear has been going the Ultra Softs for 12 laps, as well as the top 3 as well. So it shows that they're using their time management to perfection here in Canada, and that is very important if you want to make your Ultra Softs last and get the one stop right. But Ultra Softs, I probably will pit at around about lap 15, lap 16, probably towards halfway towards this Grand Prix, as we have got Drop Bear almost trying to fend off Great Master there. But don't forget, Drop Bear hasn't pitted yet. It won't make life easier for Greek Master, because he still has to fight, but it probably wouldn't help on his tyres, as Greek Master gets the DRS straight on Drop Bear there going into the final corner. He's not letting it have that easy. Drop Bear, I believe, goes into the pits, and Greek Master moves up into P5. His teammate Fent is in the pits as well, as Greek Master's going to try and close in onto people that haven't pitted yet, and I think he can make those battles look very easy for Greek Master, I got to say. But very impressed with Jared's pace so far, but I wonder how Jared could end up when he pits as well, because he's on 30 lap used Ultra Soft. Is he going to wait for the perfect time to pit, or is he going to wait until New Zealand Ryan or Warden respond and see if they can make the challenge? We'll have to wait and see. Or will Jared jump Team Mardik or Fenn? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, looking at the gaps Jared is at, if he were to pit right now, I think he'd come out between Team Mardik and Greek Mass here. at this stage of the race. There's Quicksilver picks up another 3-second time penalty, not the ideal race for him so far, but he is now back up just about inside the points there in P10. But yeah, I think Jared is probably going to pit lap 15, lap 16. You know, it's that hard balance between trying to take these ultras that little bit further and having those fresher supers right towards the very end. But as we've seen by a couple of drivers already in this race, once the tyres hit the cliff, it is basically game over in that stint, obviously, and you will just drop time, you know, just so much time so quickly there. Ryan dives into the pit lane. Where is he going to come out relative to his teammate Tim Mardick? Oh, laggy person has unfortunately disconnected. I'll see. I don't think, unfortunately, I can get him back in, which is very unfortunate for him there. But yeah, look at that. Ryan and Tim Mardick side by side out of the pit lane there, and Ben doesn't actually fight that one once more there. So, well, yeah, clearly didn't feel he had the run there, and also wasn't willing to risk it as well there. Very little ERS usage, just shows he wasn't really in a fighting spirit for that one there, and he is going to come out behind his teammate New Zealand Ryan there, and it's going to be interesting to see now, will New Zealand Ryan just pull up the road here, or will he be able to stay somewhere close here? DLC Jared, well, Greek Master even I should say, is closing up massively now to DLC Jared, so I think we're going to see Jared dive it into the pit lane on the end of this lap. He's got the green little hammer, I forgot the name of it now, screwdriver I think. There, yeah, he does. He dives into the pit lane is the important factor to take away from that one. So yeah, I think he's probably going to come out behind Warden in this Grand Prix. He's definitely going to come out behind Greek Masters. He's already come through the final chicane there, and he will re-inherit the race lead there. But Warden dives into the pit lane as well. So where is he going to come out relative to New Zealand Ryan? He should come out ahead of him still in this Grand Prix. Yes, he will, quite comfortably ahead as well, I think. As yeah, obviously he's going to have a much shorter run towards turn 1 here. And yes, he does. Back out in P2 of the Grand Prix there. Fantastic job by him. And now he's got fresher tyres throughout the final 19 laps, of this Grand Prix here. And now he's got a 6-second gap to try and close back up to Greek Master as well here. This stage of the race, what are you thinking, Jess? Is he going to be able to close that gap down?
Well, knowing Jared, because he's on a fresher set of tyres compared to Greek Master, I think he can, because regarding the tyre usage, Greek Master's only on 6 laps. He pitted about 6 laps ago, whereas DLC Jared only just pitted now. So knowing him, Jared will possibly have more grit to get these tyres to the end, and he will probably struggle less, where Greek Master, as he gets to about lap 30, will start to see his tyres start to wear a little bit, and that will probably start to have Jared close in. Jared is known for producing these last lap battles, and I'm hoping and praying that we can have one today, as Jared is starting to already close in already. He's already gained about 3 or 4 tenths that lap, and I won't be surprised if he gets fastest lap in the last couple of laps. So we will watch out for DLC Jared to see if he can try and close in, but the Ferraris are not letting him have an easy time, as New Zealand Ryan and Tim Mardick are collectively, I think, working together to make sure that they can make their way past DLC Jared there on the set. And I think New Zealand Ryan will probably have a better chance than a team of Mardick, due to the fact they are on newer tyres than his teammate there. But Fenn's doing well at the moment in 5th position, but he's a bit too further back from the leading bunch to try and hold off a challenge, but staying comfortably there in P5. But midway through the field there, Presby up into 11th position after that move from that laggy person. Warden in 10th day, he's going to try and make some ground from that as well. He's going to try and see if he can close in onto Quicksilver, going through, I think, turn 5 and turn 6. Oh, looks like Warden, I think, has got the move. Oh, Quicksilver, another spin from Quicksilver. This is not the first. Oh, and he's out. He's out of this race. So I think, I don't know how many times he's had in a row, but it's definitely not his first. It's his fifth retirement in a row, so he's not having the best of luck this season. I was really hoping he would have a good result here after a very good qualifying session from Quicksilver, but it wasn't meant to be, I'm afraid. But that means Warden has definitely going to make up some ground, and he's already trying to close up onto Neil Treedome in the Red Bull, going through up the DRS street. He has the DRS, he easily gets that move done due to the fact that he's on softer tyres and newer tyres compared to Neil Treedome, and up into P8 now. His next job is Drop Bear now, but I think Drop Bear will possibly try and help defend on that one, but we'll just have to wait and see. But Warden having a very good race so far.
Yeah, very interesting to see though. And now we've got Jared, Ryan and Ben all very close here, and you know, they need to work together surely in this race if they want to close up to Greek Master. You know, Jared and Ryan are both still definitely in that title battle with him at the moment, so they certainly want to try and get back up to him and try and take points out of him in this Grand Prix here as well. There, but Greek Master, that gap just isn't really coming down at the moment. Quicksilver has now left the session as well. They're unfortunate for him. Once again, retiring in another race. He just can't seem to maintain the consistency over a 50% race stint here. So very unfortunate for him once more there. But yeah, Jared now, that gap's hovering around 5.8 seconds. He took a good couple of tenths at Greek Master on the first lap, but since then he just hasn't been able to do so. I'm not too sure what is going on for him at the moment here. Ryan is getting much closer as well as Tim and Martin. They're almost pushing each other through the first hairpin here. So clearly, Jared, you know, he might be struggling a little bit on this fresh set of tyres, or he might just be playing the long game here and just trying to much rather, you know, bring out the time slowly but surely over Greek Master here, rather than trying to push it, you know, get right up to him within sort of the next 5 or 6 laps here. So that gap is coming down ever so slightly, but then it's sort of just fluctuating around at the moment with how many important traction zones there are around this track. You know, that time can really sort of go up and down. Oh, no, that was lag. I was going to say a very strange line by DRC Jared there as he came through the third chicane. It almost looked like he tried to get switchback on himself, but it suddenly corrected itself and we're back to normality once more here. But yeah, Jared, he really does need to try and pick up the pace just a bit here, as he's only taking out a couple of tenths a lap from Greek Master, and obviously that is certainly not going to be enough by the end of the race. If he was taking that time out of him, the gap by the end would still be about 2.4 seconds. So not good enough just yet here from DRC Jared if he still wants to try and take home this race. Which you can see they're pushing like absolute crazy out of the final corner, and the gap now down to 5.5 seconds. He can see Greek Master up the road there as they come through the first couple of corners, but I'm sure he can see those 2 scarlet red Ferrari cars just behind him as well.
Yes, he might be a little bit wide there going towards turn 1 just earlier on. And another twitch from Jared there, possibly a bit of a lag there. But Jared is probably not having the easiest race as he thinks. He thinks he could try and close in onto Greek Master, but he's not gaining much pace due to the fact that those Ferraris are catching up. But knowing Jared, he can possibly try and close in onto Greek Master if he has a chance, because he's already starting to, at the moment, approaching to 5-second gap. It used to be about 6 or 7 seconds, but now it's about 5 seconds. So good job from Jared trying to close in at this moment in time. But New Zealand Ryan getting a very good speed entry on that hairpin in that corner there, which is probably going to help him going through to the DRS straight. He's going to get DRS, but he's a bit too further back to gain the traction that he needs to try and overtake Jared. But he may prove me wrong, which he's probably going to do right now, but he's deciding to let through at the moment. He hasn't got much space to that. And Tim Marlowe's got a 3-second time penalty due to corner cutting. Don't know what happened. It's probably due to that final corner there. That is very common to get a corner cut penalty due to that. I usually find that when I race here in Canada a few times, so quite common mistake for all these drivers that they've got to learn, I've got to say. But that's the only battles happening at the moment is between the top 5 pretty much. All the rest of the field are spread out as we go through to the latter stages of the Grand Prix. But it's always like this going towards the end. We do have some stages where we don't see as much battles, and going to the end we'll see everyone trying to close up, but that is not what it's going to be looking like for the top 4. They're all starting to close in, but Greek Master having the time of his life at the moment. He's definitely having some clean air. He's having no pressure, could just drive his own race at the moment, but he knows that probably Jeff is telling him in his mirrors he's going to try and close in at this moment in time. As New Zealand Ryan has definitely gained some more pace on this lap than the last lap, so possibly he'll have a better chance getting that move, going into that long DRS straight. Is Jared going to fend him off? No, he doesn't. Ryan gets that move done perfectly and is up into P2, now trying to close in onto Jared. And New Zealand Ryan getting a 3-second time penalty as well. So 2 of the Ferraris getting a 3-second time penalty. Jared, I believe, doesn't. So Jared will probably be P2 if New Zealand Ryan stays as he is. He's got to be careful not to rack up any more penalties, because otherwise he could drop further down the field and possibly have the likes of Fenz and Acho finishing ahead of him. But who knows, it's still early days at this race. He's got to make sure he goes clear of the other guys to make sure he does do that. And I do believe Jared has made his way past Tim and Marlowe as always dropped by that, and he's going to try and make sure he can fend off Tim and Marlowe as well to see if he can try and hold on to that position. But wow, these 4 are showing Oceania what they are made of today. And New Zealand Ryan, his race is not over yet. He is hunting for that race victory, I think, Matt.
Yeah, he certainly is, and obviously, as we've seen so far over the last 2 seasons as well, New Zealand Ryan isn't a guy that gives up on fighting for race victories as well here. He would, you know, throw everything at it, and I don't think there's any Grand Prix where he's not going in with the right mindset of, you know, he can win this race there. But unfortunately for him, that he's picked up a 3-second time penalty there. I probably think he got a warning as well on that lap as he came through the final couple of corners as well. But yeah, he did flash up with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well, so maybe he just about got away with that one there. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Jared and Greekmaster, I'll have a quick look actually on the race director quickly. Greekmaster does not have a penalty, but he is sat on 2 warnings, and the same can be said for Jared here. Meanwhile, New Zealand Ryan has 2 penalties, no, 3 penalties even. 3 penalties for New Zealand Ryan there, and Tim Marduk also has 2, so clearly the Ferrari's struggling to keep it between the white lines here at this stage of this race. Still 12 laps to go there, and yeah, New Zealand Ryan, 3 penalties. No wonder he's pushing. He needs to get up that gap if he wants to hold on to points at this stage of the race here. But yeah, Greekmaster and DRC Jared both keeping it nice, clean and tidy at this stage, and this, you know, it could prove absolutely critical towards the end of the race, because sometimes you do get, you know, you do get a message from the team saying that the driver behind you has a time penalty. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you how many time penalties or anything like that, but, you know, Greekmaster, if he finds Ryan all over his gearbox in the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix, you know, maybe he could just let him through and just try to keep within 3 seconds if that's all the penalties that he thinks he has here. But yeah, Jared as well at this stage is doing absolutely everything he needs to make sure that he still finishes ahead of New Zealand Ryan here, but he's losing a bit of time now to Greekmaster as well, so maybe, you know, letting Ryan through. He didn't really fight him when he went for the move. Maybe that might not have been such a good strategy call from Jared here. Maybe he should have tried to fight it, hold on to the position as well, because yeah, it's looking at the moment like he's struggling now to keep up with Greekmaster's pace as well.
I do have a feeling though, Jared's engineer Jeff did tell him that he had a time penalty. Ryan did have a time penalty, so that's why he didn't fend off that battle too much by the looks of things. That's probably the strategy call there, because I think he knows if he stays where he is at the moment, if he's keeping that gap between him and New Zealand Ryan, he's going to put up to P2. So I think that's what he's doing to try and not have any collisions, because he did get a penalty in Baku, unfortunately, and he doesn't want the same repeated once again, so he just wants to make sure that he can play it safe just a little bit there. But if I was him, I want to challenge for the win, so he wants to try and gain as much places as possible, because if he wants to go past New Zealand Ryan and challenge for the win, he does have the tyres to do so, and I know he can do it, but the question is, can he hold on to New Zealand Ryan and try and get that position done? I think so, but he's going to take all that strength to do so, because Jared does have the determination and also does New Zealand Ryan as well. But that was my reckoning on why Jared was holding off a little bit there, going towards the last couple of corners a few laps ago. So we've got 10 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Early favourites, I think it's got to be Greekmaster, but we have seen races before where the leader has boiled it in the last lap, and we don't want that to happen, touch wood. But things could all change, so the order you may see may not be the order that you see. And Roscoe has got another 3-second time penalty. I think he's got about 4 or 5 already in this race. He's got to be careful, because we don't want a disqualification from Roscoe due to the penalties he has. If he receives one more, then he could be at risk of disqualification. But Jared's still trying to close onto Ryan. Tim Marduk is a bit off the pace between him and Jared, so I think he's going to find it into P. Oh, and Jared easily gets the move done into P2 there. Nicely done from him. This replica move that Ryan did on Jared a few laps ago. So his next stop now is to challenge for the win. But unfortunately for New Zealand Ryan, I think his challenges for the win is pretty much over due to the amount of penalties that he has had, unless he could get like 8 seconds clear. But I doubt that would happen with New Zealand Ryan. But things could happen. But Jared and Greekmaster haven't got penalties, so it's all for the battle of the win now. He does have a little bit of clean air in front of him, but New Zealand Ryan is still going to be pressuring on him in these last couple of laps. But all Jared needs to do now is keep his head in the game, think about the win here, and he can possibly do it, as he's now ranging between that 3.5 mark, 3-second mark, but he's not dropping down any further or increasing the gap even further at the moment. So I'm a bit worried about him, but you never know what he could do, as Greekmaster may have his tyres start to hold on a little bit and may start to struggle a little bit as we go to the last couple of laps. But Greekmaster doesn't look like he's struggling, but Jared has already found about 3 attempts already in that last lap already. I think the slipstream of New Zealand Ryan helped him a little bit there as well, going through to that last straight. But I think almost all New Zealand Ryan making that move then, but unfortunately he didn't make the move stick. He didn't want to cause any more troubles. I think we see DLG Gamble getting involved in the battle as well as Mars Berserk going on to a set of Hypersoft, I believe, for his tyres. I think DLG Gamble went into the pits as well for another set of Hypersoft. Therefore we go for the fastest lap, I presume, and they've got nothing to lose at these later stages of the race. They thought they want to get some glory somehow, so they decided to pit on the Hypersoft, which is very good to see. Laggy Person not having the best of races, you know. He is way down in 14th place, almost a lap down compared to everybody else, you know. So he has got to find a way to make sure that he has damage limitation. I think his goal now is to finish the race here, really. He's running his own race, but all in all, it is going to be very close between New Zealand Ryan and Jared to make sure who's going to be second on track. We know who's going to be second after penalties at this rate, but who's going to be second on track? New Zealand Ryan is starting to close in on to Jared here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens as Roscoe Arm is in the pits as well.
Yeah, he is at this late stage of the day, but I think the battle that we need to be staying on board with is probably between DRC Jared and New Zealand Ryan here. And Ryan, he's doing a bit of a weird strategy, to be honest, because honestly, if I was in his position, I'd just sit behind Jared, try to get up to Greek now, so, you know, maybe, although, you know, you never want to see it for either of the drivers, you know, maybe if they had a bit of contact or something, Ryan gets into the lead of the race and tries to build up that gap as best as possible. But yeah, it seems at the moment like he just wants to try and apply the pressure to DRC Jared there. That gap now is just about around the 3-second mark here, and this is going to be really, really tough for Greek and Ryan in these late stages of the race here as well, because obviously they are on much older tyres as well. So I'm just trying to look actually at how long they've been on those tyres as well there. Sorry, yeah, no, I got Ben and Ryan even mixed up there. Ryan, another 3-second time penalty. This race is just slipping away from him as well. Very, very, very unfortunate here. But yeah, Greek Master has already been on those tyres for 18 laps. Jared has only been on his for 12 laps. So clearly, you know, he's going to have a lot more pace right the way through to the end as well. You know, perhaps if Greek Master's tyres hit the cliff with just a couple of laps to go here, Jared could find himself right there with him as well in the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix. But he still needs to make sure that he keeps it between those white lines, and it can be quite difficult to do so when you've got a car breathing down on you as they come in towards turn 1 there. Ryan just having a bit of a sniff, you know, thinking about potentially going for it here, but just a little bit too far back at this stage of the race. 6 laps to go here. That is the amount. That is the advantage DRC Jared has on those tyres as well. 6-lap fresher rubber, and just look at that. Ryan makes a mistake through the second chicane there, and that's going to give DRC Jared a bit of breathing space there as well. So clearly very, very good for him. That gap now down to 2.6 seconds. We are in for a titanic battle towards the end of this race.
And it is nice to see DRC Jared getting involved in that battle, because we didn't see much battles from DRC Jared last season, season 2. So it's good that he has improved in this new game, and he's hoping to get another podium finish. Will be absolutely sensational for him. He got P3 last time, and he was aiming for P2 again. But he's around 2.6 seconds now between him and Great Master. So if he finds the time, he could possibly challenge for the win. So I can already see in the same camera shot Jared and Greek Masters, so it'll be nice to see a last lap battle from them, you know, because Jared has worked so hard this season, and he could be a championship contender if he gets a good result here today, because his other championship rival, HO, is down in P6. So as far as I'm aware, I think DRC Jared is going to be ahead of HO at the end of this race in the championship, which is really going to help him close up to New Zealand Ryan in the championship, which will be absolutely amazing to see from Jared in a Mercedes. Obviously, New Zealand Ryan was on the Mercedes last season. Now Jared's in Mercedes this season, which he's doing absolutely well in indeed. So we've got 5 laps to go of this Grand Prix, and already a few people are starting to get lapped already then. So already the leaders are trying to overcome traffic then. So that's probably not going to help in the case of the battles as they can, as Warden has just set the fast lap on the Hypersoft tyres already. Ben getting another 3-second time penalty. He's going to drop his way down the field this race if he doesn't keep this up. Fens I did see get a time penalty earlier, but I do believe Ben has got more penalties than Fens, so possibly Fens will finish ahead of Ben if he's not careful. But, you know, he'll still get a good result anyway, even if he finishes as he is, because he hasn't raced in AOR for quite some time now. So it'll be a good result for him, as Warden has, I think, made the move past the old tree zone, going through to that chicane there. Now he's up into P8 there, definitely using his Hypersoft to the limit at the moment. His needle tree dome has been on the Supersoft for 20 laps now, so is probably feeling the strain, where Warden has only been on the hypersofts for 2 laps, which is probably going to last towards the end as well. His teammate not having the best of results in P13, him banking another penalty as well, which is not going to help in the case of the race then. So yeah, penalties wrapped by a lot of people, but I do believe Jared and Greekmaster don't have any other penalties, so that's going to work out well for them. But there you know, driver of the day. Vote in the chat below or who you think is going to get driver of the day. I have a few contenders, but already... Oh! Jared got a time penalty. 3-second time penalty. What happened there? He's probably cut the corner by... I think he was trying to fend off New Zealand Ryan now, and he just get a time penalty. So that didn't help him, but I don't think it's going to make any difference, I believe, because New Zealand Ryan has got more penalties than him. So that was probably going to be a lucky mistake. So I did say he was carrying a clean race, but I probably jinxed him a little bit there. So he got his first penalty, but I think he's going to stay P2 for now. But that was a close call for DRC Jared there. He's got to be careful now to make sure if he gets past Greekmaster, he's got to stay 3-second clear. But I think the win may be a bit over for DRC Jared at the moment, but he's quite comfortably in a P2 for now, heading to the later stages of this race with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately for him, that, though, basically means unless Greekmaster's tyres hit the cliff, it's all but his battle for the race victory over there. That 3-second time penalty, unfortunately, I can't see Greekmaster pick him on up as well here. But yeah, maybe, just maybe for DLC Jared, we might see one for the Williams driver as well there. But yeah, I think, obviously, unless those tyres fall off, I think Jared is probably going to have to settle for P2 here, even I should say. Ryan, I think, has picked up now 12 or 15 seconds worth of time penalties, so I can't imagine he's going to be too much of a threat towards the end of this race as well. Here, yeah, DLG Gamble actually all over the back of Greekmaster as well. Let's hope we don't see any Ocon Verstappen Brazil instance all over again here. But yeah, is he actually going to try and go for this in towards the final chicane? He's making it very clear that he wants to, but yeah, he is backing out at that as well. So he's got to make sure he does actually get out of the way for Jared as well if he doesn't get close enough there. But yeah, this is probably not ideal for Greekmaster as well. He probably doesn't fancy a bright orange McLaren right in his rearview mirrors, trying to almost apply the pressure as well here. But yeah, he's just got to make sure he keeps it between the white lines though at the moment, because he is on for yet another podium and another win in this season there. Will further extend his championship lead here, but I'm not going to say any more on that just yet in case I do jinx something there, which I would hate to do so. I've had quite a reputation doing it so far in AR Oceania as well there. But now the gap between Jared and Greekmaster, 1.7 seconds, 1.6 seconds. Those tyres are starting to fall off here, I think. And Jared now is closing down that gap quite rapidly here over the last couple of laps there. He can obviously take a little bit more risks now. Now he's obviously got that penalty. He's now got another 2 warnings before he picks up any consequences now. So obviously this is quite critical for him here. He can take a little bit of extra risk here. 1.5 seconds to go. 2 laps to go of this Grand Prix. This is anyone's call. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to try and come through to win this race. He's going to use the slipstream from DLG Gamble as well. That's going to give him an extra little helping hand there. The gap now down 1.4 seconds here as we enter the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix. And Jared, he needs to get within inside that DRS window here to really stand a chance of maybe winning this race on the road here. Winning it outright might be a little bit of a tougher challenge still because of that 3-second time penalty here. But I think Greekmaster's tyres are all but gone here. This has not been the end of the race that I'm sure he would have wanted, but it has certainly given us quite a cracker through these final couple of laps. Then Jared throwing the car through the chicanes here. He was putting absolutely everything into this, and Greekmaster's tyres are definitely gone. The gap now down to just 0.8 of a second here, 0.7 of a second, 2 laps to go, 1.5 laps to go now of this race. Is Jared going to be able to make anything work? He's got the DRS as well here. That is only going to help him get even closer over Greekmaster here. Press BC picks up another 3-second time penalty. That is not what he needed. The gap now down just 0.5 second here. Is Greekmaster going to try and defend this one with just 1 lap to go here? We come out onto the back straight here. Jared has been able to save a lot of ERS as well here. I'm sure he's going to use up as much of it as he possibly can down this back straight. 0.4 of a second now. It's going to close down even further in towards the final chicane, onto the final lap of the Canadian Grand Prix we go here. We've had so many last lap battles this season so far, and it looks like we're going to have another one here. Is he going to be able to make a move in towards T1? He's going to get the opportunity, parks it down the inside, that gets the car nicely on the curbs there, and Greekmaster is just going to bail out of that one. And now GRC Jared moves up into the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously he led a couple of laps after the pit stop window here, but apart from that he has not led in any of this Grand Prix, in terms of actually, in the proper race lead, in the net race lead, I should say there. And look at that, Ryan down the inside of Greek Master as well. So Greek Master's pace has really, really fallen off here. And could we see the impossible? Could we see DLC Jared actually able to take home this race victory here? Maybe if we see Greek and Ryan having a bit of a battle through the final couple of corners of this lap. DLC Jared, he's already pulled out half the advantage that he needs to here. Is he going to be able to do the impossible here? It would be very, very surprised if he could do so here. Greek Master is actually going to have the ERS though, and the DRS even, I should say, from New Zealand. Ryan here as well, but look at that gap, 2.1 seconds here. He's going to close it back just ever so slightly as well through down this back straight here. But if he makes a mistake through the wall of champion chicane, I think he's obviously going to take it very, very carefully there. Yes, he does. I think he is. Yeah, he's going to remain close enough there. Jared takes home the race victory. Greek Master and Ryan side by side over the line there, but Greek Master is going to take it on the penalty count there. The race victory. What a fantastic job that is by him. Tim Mardick is going to come through in P5 in the end there. Fens is actually going to be able to get the jump on him as HO there comes through the final couple of corners of the final lap as well there. Drop there, picks up another 3-second time penalty from just behind him there, but HO holds on to P6. Drop there in P7 now. What an end to that race that was. Warden 99 comes through the final couple of corners there as well to hold on for P8 and 4 points in the bag as well for the Force India driver there. Neon Tridom down in P9 there with Press BC. He's going to... Oh, Press BC almost bins it at the final corner. I'm sure that was quite a harem-scarer moment for him there down in P10. That picks up a solid point there for the Sauber team with Roscoe Arm, DLG Gamble. Well, he's already finished the race there. One lap down, so Roscoe Arm is going to be the final driver to come through to finish this race there as well. Uses up his last bit of ERS as well there. But what an end to that Grand Prix. It ultimately looked like Jared might have actually been able to do the impossible there, but Greek Master holds firm, holds confident, and he does come through for the race victory nonetheless.
Yeah, and probably what did it for Greek Master was due to the fact that Jared got a penalty there. And what a last lap battle from Jared there. Now, probably the traffic that Greek Master had to deal with DLG Gamble probably helps Jared try to close in onto Greek Master, which means the battle was close. We did hope for a last lap battle, and we have got one here in Canada. So Greek Master taking his second win in a row. Obviously, he won last time out in Monaco as well, which means he extended his lead in the Drivers' Championship, which is going to really help his case here. But New Zealand Ryan is definitely on a mission. He's going to try and close in onto Greek Master as we go through the championship. We're not even halfway through yet, so anything can happen. Things can all change. As Greek Master, I think the only person out of the top 5 to not get a penalty there. I think, let's see who else didn't get a penalty. I think HO didn't get a penalty either, nor did DLG Gamble. Everybody else has got a penalty, so well done to 3 of those drivers for not getting penalties and having a really clean race out here. But everybody else getting penalties, I think the most people have got was from Mars Berserk there, who got 24-second penalty there. Not the best of races for him. But let's go through the order quickly. Greek Master 99 in P1, Jared in P2, Ryan in P3, Fens in P4, Timo Mardick in P5. Not a bad result for him for his return to AOR. HO in P6, Drop Bear in P7, Warden in P8, Neo Tridome in P9, Prez BC rounding out the final points for the good points finish there with Roscoe, Gamble, Berserk, that laggy person, and unfortunately Quicksilver being our only retirement here today and not finishing this Grand Prix. Is he going to have any luck this season? Because he almost had it in Canada, but due to that spin early on in the race, that cost him a little bit there. And I really hope he has his fortunes turned next week, because he's had retirement after retirement after retirement. But yeah, well done to Greek Master there for definitely making that win count. He definitely had to work for it towards that final few laps, but he probably took it a little bit easy there due to those penalties there. But very good for DRC Jared. It was a shame he didn't get that win, but the penalties was a bit costly for him, that's why the win was taken away for him today.
Yeah, but ultimately still a very, very good battle there. And yeah, Greek Master did absolutely everything he needed to there. Cool, calm and collected once more, and he certainly deserves to extend his championship lead after that one. If I'm not mistaken now, he's actually got a 1-race lead advantage now over New Zealand Ryan, which is obviously absolutely critical as well. But yeah, fantastic race once again. I'd personally like to just thank everyone else who has come around to watch the stream as well there. And yeah, once again, we had a battle right down to the very last lap of the Grand Prix as well. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so to the AOR channel as well. But anything else to add, Jess?
No, not really, but it was absolutely intense. 2 intense races in a row, so well done to all the Oceania drivers, and I really do hope we get some similar battles happening in the European and American leagues happening later on as well. So if you want to see some more AOR action, tune into the channel starting from 7 PM tonight with the PS4 Tier 1 drivers to show their mettle, and then the rest of the tiers for PC Tier 1 and all the other tiers at 8 PM and Xbox One Tier 1 at 9 PM as well. So make sure you do check that out. And about 1 AM UK time will be the America Leagues as well. So some great more AOR action to take place this evening, so make sure you tune in then. And also check back the PS4 Oceania race and see what happened there, because I do believe that was some intense racing as well. So well done to everybody. Make sure you join us same time next week at 8 PM for the Xbox One Oceania. I do believe it is going to France in Paul Ricard next. Our first race in that track in AOR for quite some time now. And I hope you guys are looking forward to. Hopefully Fitcho will be back with Matt pretty soon next week as well. But if you want to check our personal channels out with me and Matt, our links will be in the description. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next week for some more AOR action in Oceania. Good night.